As, as Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Good evening to one and all. Here again we are with another episode of the interactive session with our alumni guest, Dr. Varghese Zachariah, who is a renowned anesthesiologist with whom we will be having an interesting and knowledgeable talk. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and the only journey is the one within. With this inspirational quote, myself, Shiny as Joseph, would like to extend my warm greetings to one and all to the new episode of E-Confab 3, episode 7, Icons of Inspiration, a Step Towards Better Future. Our today's topic is about journey to serve. But before that, let us have a look on the Bulletin of Times of MGM presented by Cheryl P. Anil, Class 12 BP.
Good evening. Welcome to Times of MGM. Myself, Cheryl P. Anil of Class 12 Bio. Today's main headlines are, first of all, some international news. British Prime Minister Mr. Boris Johnson plans to end England's national lockdown on 2nd December. The overall number of global coronavirus cases have surpassed 57 million mark. Now, some national news. PM Modi lays foundation for water supply project in UP's Mirzapur.
संभालना, लोगों से टैक्स वसूल करना, कभी खराब हो जाए तो रिपेयरिंग करना, सब काम बहनें करती थी। उनको एक बहुत बड़ा अवार्ड भी मिला था। तो मैं चाहूंगा कि महिलाओं में अगर जागृति रहेगी तो पानी का काम भी अच्छा होगा और पानी बचाव का भी काम अच्छा होगा।
India reports less than 50,000 new COVID cases for 15 straight days. Now, some local news. There are around 20,659 active COVID cases in Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh government to start paddy purchase from 1st of December. According to new education policy, more focus will be given on students' practical and application knowledge. Now, moving on to some MGM news. Mark Theodosius Memorial E-Portal broadcasted Atal Tinkering Lab Session 2 on the topic Demonstration of Series and Parallel Connection using Breadboard under the guidance of Mrs. Manisha Parkhi on 19th November 2020, which got 537 views.
This is the second session of ATL learning. Now in the previous session you have learnt what is current, voltage, breadboard, LED, jump wire and battery. Now what is breadboard? It is a और यहाँ आपको एक नेगेटिव साइन दिखेगा, इसका मतलब ये नेगेटिव है और इसका जो पॉजिटिव है ये वाइट वायर जो आपका पॉजिटिव होता है। अब हम इसको कनेक्ट करेंगे बैटरी के साथ। तो व्हाइट वाले के साथ अटैच करेंगे टू ग्लो द एलईडी। तो आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे एलईडी हमारा जल रहा है।
Mark Theodosius Memorial E-Portal broadcasted Fields of Wonder episode 7 on the topic Seasons, which got 1100 views. Mark Theodosius E-Portal will broadcast E-Confab 3 episode 7 talk show with Dr. Varghese Zachariah, fondly called as Dr. Zach, an alumni of MGM Senior Secondary School on 23rd November 2020. That's all for today. Stay tuned to our channel for more exciting news. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Now let us move on towards our today's guest, Dr. Varghese Zachariah, Give your hands to serve and your hearts to love. This was what Mother Teresa aimed at. Our today's guest, Dr. Zachariah, is also on the journey to serve the mankind. Sir finished his schooling from MGM Senior Secondary School in 1983 batch. Following his interest, he went to complete MBBS from Government Medical College, Jabalpur, MP, and now known as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Medical College. Sir then did his MD in anesthesia from renowned Christian Medical College, Vellore, where he continued to be a faculty member till December 2007. Doctor then served as a senior registrar, Mubarak Al Kabir Hospital, Kuwait, Institute of Medical Sciences till 2012, and later on in 2012, Sir came back to India and joined as head Bangalore Baptist Hospital, which is a tertiary care teaching hospital accredited to NABH and National Board. At present, Doctor is continuing there as senior consultant in the teaching faculty for postgraduates. Sir is also an examiner in anesthesia from National Board. Owing to his passion of teaching and writing, he has contributed multiple publications in national and international journals. Sir is a famous personality in presentation at national and state conferences. He is also a reviewer for academic articles for international journals. It's my immense pleasure to invite you, Dr. Varghese Zachariah, into our today's talk show. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. It's nice to be back talking to the school where you studied.
Yeah, welcome you, sir. Then, now we welcome owing to his passion, Sir is a famous personality in presentation at national and state conferences, and is also a reviewer for academic articles for international journals. I welcome you, sir. Now I request you, sir, to please share some of your experiences in MGM with us.
Experiences in MGM. I was just looking at this Cheryl who was telling the news, reading the news. I remember if it was a continuous process, this was started when we were there by Professor John V. John Father. And when we were one of those first batches who actually started reading the news, but they probably have a teleprompter which is helping them. That time we had to read it from a paper. So anyway, it was good. The school life is one of the best parts, and one very good thing about Bhilai is that you embrace a lot of cultures there, which a lot of people which I've seen from other places don't have that. Maybe because Bhilai was a cosmopolitan area and we had people coming from all walks of life, all backgrounds into the same class, into the same school. So it was always nice. We used to celebrate all the festivals. We used to go to a friend's house for all they used to come to our house. So it was nice. And the school was, discipline was one very important thing which had been ingrained in our blood from the time of Reverend Father T.T. Thomas Vachin. So I still remember the times when Father used to walk around the corridors with a cane in his hand. And anybody who makes noise or become mischievous, he used to just hold him and give him a knack on his knickers. We all used to watch it. It's not that I have not got it, I also have got it. So, and it was nice. It was a nice period. One thing is that you're all innocent at that time. You don't know what life has in store for you. So you just study, do some mischiefs, try to. The aim of getting into something in life for boys, I think it doesn't come till 10th or 11th. girls may come a little more earlier because they mature earlier. It's proven girls mature earlier. So I had written it in my talk that only in 11th I decided that I would become a doctor, even though I've taken maths and bio. So I left maths and came entirely to bio, and then went through the hard, rigorous preparation of getting into the entrance through the entrance exam, and finally it's mentioned there actually. So shall I start my presentation? I'm sorry.
Questions are also, yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, I would like to request our principal, respected principal, sir, Professor Dr. B.D. Targan, to please join the interaction. Please, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, Madam Shaini. Yeah. So I think you have a well prepared presentation, so I'll not take much time. Just one or two questions, sir. I was going through your profile, and I can make out two things. Apart from the distinct career as a doctor, it is very much evident that you are an ardent teacher. Number one. And number two, you are a researcher. That implies that you are in constant touch with the books. So, how important is this in a professional life?
It is very important, Professor, because medicine is a changing science. And what we used to talk about in our medicine times is that 50% of the medicines which we have learned becomes redundant by 10 years. So you have to keep yourself updated. And since I teach the postgraduates, I have to make sure that they also learn the right thing and the new recent guidelines. Even in medicine also, there are a lot of guidelines and a lot of matters, especially, which are updated every 5 years, every 2 years, and all those. So we have to keep update on that. It's I think it's very important in your profession that you should have a knowledge of what is the latest trends and news to make yourself an important part of the, especially teaching faculty.
That's great. So you would be having various publications which are purely original to you.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you can list a couple of them.
Yeah. You want me to list?
No, not the whole list. I mean, a couple of them which are.
Recently, we have published one in the Lancet. Lancet is a journal which is coming from the UK. So about something. The title of the publication is Hip Attack. So we were looking at the time a patient with a hip fracture is taken inside to a theater, fix the fracture, and make him walk faster. So it was a part of an international study. So the sample size, we take the sample size, which was around 3,000. So we were a part of that, and we had actually been in Canada to have the final meeting of this. So what we wanted to know is that we had randomized these people to two groups. One where the surgery can be taken up, where the patient can be taken up for surgery within 6 hours of getting admitted into the hospital. The other group was when the patient can be scheduled for surgery the next day. So usually what was happening is the patient was being scheduled for surgery the next day. And sometimes there are some reasons for which the patient may not be fit enough to come into the theater within 6 hours. But then that is why we had a larger sample size. We had the sample collected from all over the world. So, and finally we had a very good result on it. So there is no clinical evidence that fixing the fracture within 6 hours helps in the mortality or the morbidity of the patient. So both are equally good. So finally, what we decided or what we recommended was, if your hospital and your logistics support a patient to be taken early, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, you can schedule it in your elective list. This is the in summary of that study.
ओके, सो मेरा अगला सवाल ये है कि एनेस्थीसिया इज आपका स्पेशलाइजेशन है, so it implies that it's a great boon in surgery, I believe, as in layman's language. तो ऐसा एक क्रूशियल स्पेशलाइजेशन क्योंकि इतना रेलेवेंट है और लिटरल सेंस में भी आप लोगों को पेन नहीं देना चाहते, तो इज इट मैचिंग टू योर प्रोफाइल आल्सो, योर थिंकिंग, और इस फील्ड में यू came by chance or you had planned for it?
See, it was after my MBBS, I came down to Vellore thinking that I will do a post-graduation in something else. But then I started seeing the work of anesthetist and I started getting the interest. And that is how I thought, okay, I will join up anesthesia. And then I did it. See, I always tell my students, see, that is, people who would have completed MD or MS should always go and work in CMC Vellore for maybe 1 to 2 years. It's always nice. It's what we call a treasure house of cases. You get cases from all over South Asia, actually. Not only from India, it's all over South Asia. So you get cases from Philippines, you get cases from Malaysia, you get cases from Bangladesh, you get cases from Sri Lanka. And of course, in India, you have a lot of patients. We used to have a geographical distribution, mostly patients from Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka. When we were there, okay, the number of hospitals would not have been that much like how it is now. So people always used to come for a second opinion. Or if the case is having a problem, they used to refer it. So we were actually looking at or treating those patients who were more sick. So that way it was very good. So maybe that also helped because we were doing sick cases under anesthesia. So that also helped develop my interest in anesthesia.
Okay. So before I invite the anchor to step in, my last question is, career-based selection, your time and the present time, how do you compare? आप कैसे कंपेयर कर सकते हो और आज पेरेंट्स क्या क्या चीजें ध्यान में रखें? I am sure you as a parent, you should have taken many decisions for your children, and आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या बोलता है इस पर?
If the student has aptitude for it, he should go for it. But as every year progresses, the competition becomes more and more difficult. But now you look at it, if the students are fed with a lot of choices. I mean, they have a lot of choices to go around. So maybe you should look at the student's aptitude and his likeness. That's one thing I would like to tell, that to become a doctor, you should have a mentality that you're going to miss a lot of things in life. That is there, which I will tell. And you may not be financially very good like others from your batch who would have been, if you had taken that subject, you would have been more advanced financially. That mentality should be there to become a doctor. Then only you actually feel happy. Otherwise, it's not worth it. But if the aptitude for the student is there, definitely you should use it.
Okay, so wherever required, I would step in. Over to the anchor, please. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Hi,
yes, Doctor, will you please enlighten us with today's topic?
Journey to serve.
Yeah,
this is what I was just mentioning to Principal Sir, that the mentality or the thought process that you have to serve the people has to be there. You should not think of becoming a doctor just to earn money. It's not. ambition changes away there. Your aim in life goes away. So
Emotion.
maybe I had an advantage of growing up in Bhilai and coming and working in Christian Medical College, which is a big hospital in the service of mankind. So maybe that got ingrained into my mind. And probably I'm still working in a mission hospital. Bangalore Baptist Hospital is a mission hospital, but it's a very good mission hospital in a city. Not a small kind of mission hospital. It's a big one. So we have maybe my working in Christian Medical College helped in my maturing in us as a person who will help people serve. That is the theme of the presentation.
So you will be giving the presentation now, sir?
Yeah, I think I have already shared it with Jitin. If Jitin can start.
Yes.
It's not started.
So you may please play the slides.
Yeah.
Sir,
Meanwhile,
doctor,
sir,
will
you can
you
just
please play the presentation from your side?
Okay, let me go ahead and do this.
yeah, you can share the screen. Yes.
Now it's coming. Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay, this is the name of my presentation. And yeah, this is what I start with. Since I've already talked about it, some other things which I didn't talk. One of the best times of childhood, so innocent, not a worry in the world, and the best teachers you could have asked for. As I already told, the decision to become a doctor took seed when I was in 11th standard, and this was another of those things. Father T.T. Thomas sir had enforced a rule to speak in English in the school. So when we were in the vicinity of sir or the teachers, we would switch to English. You know what was a fine when we could not? We were caught not speaking in English. It was 1 rupee, which is nothing. So a lot of our character, which we imbibe or which we exhibit in adult life, usually has its roots in how we are trained in school life. So a lot of things come into play: the teachers, the discipline in the school, your friends, and how you wear. So you and also an equal contribution from the family, which many people forget. This I also had not mentioned. There was definitely an involvement or percentage of the character which comes from our parents. So yeah, just as I told before, getting into medical school was not a piece of cake. You have to struggle, and it is a part of preparation. It prepares you to what lies ahead. So you that struggle is needed, that hard work, and probably memorizing all those, because you are also going to do something like that when you are in medical school. So a false belief, which probably we also had: get into the medical school, get an admission into that, or your worries are done. I mean, no more worries. That means your life is made nothing else to be done. But you start realizing it a little later that you have to do further a lot of things more. You have chosen a path and you have to chart your success with your hard work, which is what I told. Your struggle when you prepare for the entrance exam is the beginning of what you're going to do later. But don't worry, in the end, the returns are very good. And medical college is not all study and no play. You all get the time to play. So we used to do a lot of. We had a college cricket team. We had a college basketball team, and we actually took part in inter-college festivals and all those. There was a play which we did when we were in college, which actually came first when we, and I was a part of it, when we presented it in Maulana Azad Medical College as a part of the Inter-College Festival. So it's not that you end up becoming a bookworm while you're in medical college, but it all helps up. These, you can showcase your talents, get recognized. Most of the professional colleges have separate clubs. The life in a medical school has a charm of its own. It's different. It's different from any other college. You have there was a relationship between the seniors in the college, in the hostel, in the juniors, and the teachers. There are people. Ragging was a part of our curriculum, but it was not as bad as what our seniors would have experienced. But I am also of the opinion that a small bit of ragging should always be there. It helps in the later only you come to know that, see, the people who has ragged you, it is no physical ragging, mind you, there is no physical ragging involved. So it is just a part of introduction and you ask questions and all those, but people have a fright about this. But I think a small bit of ragging should be encouraged. So, but with no physical violence or anything like that. And one of the other good things about the medical college is you have the best in the field teaching you to how to examine a case, how to find out the signs which are there, and how to present it. So these are all things which you never knew, and you learn it in a medical school. So this is what I told. Once you get into the medical school, don't think that your worries are over. You sit back and relax during the 3rd and 4th year. The stress of post-graduation sets in. And now, since you're already in the medical school, there will be a lot of expectation from the family and the society because you're going to become a doctor. So a lot of people are going to look up to you. So you have to live up to their expectations. Life moves on and you find your way. You prepare for your entrance for post-graduation and get into a post-graduation of your choice. Sometimes it may not be your choice, but if you have taken up, there is no other option but then to go ahead and do it. So next step of hard work and dedication for getting your specialization is the entrance, postgraduate entrance. Since I already mentioned, I had the good fortune to do my specialization in Vellore. But the life of a postgraduate is interesting, but also hard. It stretches you out physically. You end up doing duties for 36 hours. You are awake, but you are doing. But it's a trend which has been set. So it's not that something you're doing new. But people before you are doing it, people after you are doing it, and I can guarantee you my postgraduates are doing it now. So it all depends upon how you work. It's one of our professors used to tell, it is character building in medicine, making the resident or the postgraduate work 36 hours. So this is a period during the postgraduate when you are, what I've written, it's physically and mentally stretched to the limits. And you would have seen a lot of WhatsApp messages of the doctors or the residents sleeping wherever they find. And I'll tell you one thing, sleeping is still my favorite hobby. So about anesthesia, my specialization is not what everyone knows, because a lot of places the anesthetist doesn't come into the picture or doesn't come in contact with the patients and the relatives. But we are slowly changing it. So, because there is something called a pre anesthesia evaluation of a patient. Before a patient is planned for surgery, the patient has to come to the anesthetist, meet him, and get his physical checkup done. Most of the times, it will involve the examination of the patient. Some tests has to be done, and then the patient has to meet, and then the anesthetist will tell what is the plan of anesthesia, why you are doing this. So, like it is written in the second one, the anesthetist, well, I tell it to all my surgeons, the anesthetist is the pilot who takes you and grounds you back carefully, because the patient is in the care of the anesthetist when the surgery is happening. The surgeon does the surgery, and the anesthetist improves the physiology of the patient along with the surgeon. So it's and in the pre-anesthesia evaluation, the risks of the patient in the surgery are anticipated, and this is for the surgery, during the surgery, and planned so that nothing untoward happens. Anything can happen. Patient can bleed to death. Patient can have a cardiac arrest. So preventing all these things is the anesthetist responsibility at that time. Yeah, this is what I was telling. Patients usually do not remember the anesthetist till a few years back, but we are slowly changing. We meet the patients before and after the surgery to take care of the pain and clinical status. Helps in improving the clinical status, makes them get up and all this. This is one thing which probably no other profession gives you. The smile and gratitude of the patient when you go and see them after the surgery. It's an unexplainable feeling when the patient folds his hands and tells thanks to you. So the take-home message in this presentation: sincerity and dedication combined with hard work will help you get the results. It is better to have thought to serve the people if you want to take up medicine. So that's all in my presentation. Thank you. Yes, Jitin, my presentation is finished.
I like those words, sir. Anesthetist is a pilot. That's a very good thing you said, sir. And nowadays, yes, the patients like to meet the anesthetist because they only take them through the journey of surgery. Yes, that's very true, sir. Now, some students of our school will be asking you questions, sir. Shall I invite
Yeah, please.
Ashutosh Gupta, 12P?
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Ashutosh, how are you?
Hi, sir. Sir, my question is, before anesthesia, there is a pre-anesthesia test in which patients have to tell certain things about themselves, like allergies, diseases, or bad habits, but sometimes they don't tell. So how do you deal with such people, sir?
It is being a doctor is like a detective at work. So you have to try to get those things from the patient by asking the questions in different ways. So, see, I have had experience when when I ask the patient, do you have diabetes? He'll tell, no, I don't have. Okay, what all medications do you take? I take anti-diabetic medications. You see, there you got the answer. So it's how you communicate. And sometimes, see, if a young fellow comes for surgery with his parent and he smokes, he may not tell. But you can ask him when his parent is not there. And usually, most of the time, let's say 99% of the time, they tell the truth when you ask them.
For answering my question, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. How are
Sir,
you?
my question for you is, I'm fine, sir. So my question for you is that why did you choose to become an anesthesiologist, and what is the experience in that, and the major role in the surgery?
The why I choose anesthesia, because I started liking it when I saw anesthesia being done. Probably the advantage was because I was in Vellore. So we were doing, as I was talking to your principal said, that we were doing quite a lot of sick cases. So where anesthesia plays a very important role. So probably that motivated me, and that helped me in managing the cases. So what anesthesia does in a major surgery is like, you would have you been in a plane?
No, sir.
You have been in a plane.
No, sir.
Okay, in a plane, the most important person in plane is the pilot, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
the pilot sits inside, takes the plane off the ground into the air, and flies it in the air, and then makes it land without having any problem. Na?
Yes, sir.
How many of you have seen the pilot? Well, somebody who's sitting in the different classes most of the time in the inside or going on a trip, they won't have seen the pilot. I have seen only one pilot coming out and talking to the passengers. I've not seen any of them else coming. So it's like the anesthetist is the person who deals with the physiology of the patient. So the surgeon plans the surgery, and the patient may have multiple medical problems. So it's our responsibility to make sure that these medical problems are optimized before taking the patient to surgery, if possible, and improve the physiology of the patient by doing the surgery, helping the surgeon do the surgery, by anesthetizing the patient and managing the physiology of the patient at that time. And then you bring the patient out of anesthesia. So it's like taking the flight off into the air, doing the surgery, and making the patient land down without a crash. So that is the importance of anesthetist in a surgery.
Thank you,
Hope
sir. Thank you, sir.
anytime.
Of 12, Anis Khan of 12P, BP, BioP. Anis?
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Fine, sir. Sir, my question is, how is the career opportunity in the anesthesiology and how one can be motivated towards this branch?
Career option in anesthesiologist, you are needed all around the world, man. You do anesthesia, everybody will take you. Only thing, you just have to pass some exams and all. If you want to
Yes.
practice in UK, you want to practice in US. US, you have to clear the USMLE. UK, you have to clear the FRCA, and other places also. It's the most wanted specialty. One good thing about anesthetist is that once you finish your work, you don't have to bother about your patient. There are others who look after them.
Yes.
So how you motivate is, it's not what do you call, you cannot be as famous as a cardiologist or a surgeon, for example, for that. But you are important. The surgeon knows you, the cardiologist knows you, and now at least the patient also starts knowing you when you are dealing with.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Next, Shrijoy Roy, 11, BioIP.
Good evening,
Shrijoy?
sir.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
I still.
So I am
Now I
fine,
can
sir.
see.
So my question is little bit different, sir. I want to know, after we have taken in the medical college, we have studied and we have gotten the degree. But after that, we don't know whether we have to choose the government job or the private sector jobs for practice.
So that is a question which a person has to do. A lot of circumstances, a lot of reasons might be there why a person would like to have a government job, or a private job. The advantages of a government job is that you are you're getting the job for till you retire, and you will be getting some retirement benefits and all this. In a private hospital, it's not there. You don't have retirement benefits. I mean, some of the hospitals have, but personally, and it is a personal what do you call choice, because I never felt that I will be happy in a government job. Maybe because my post graduation was such that the work we used to do would probably never happen into that level in a government hospital. It still takes time. Even yesterday only, if you take an example, small example, we were searching for government hospitals in Karnataka doing liver transplant. There are none. But there are a lot of private institutes which do liver transplant. So you see the extent of the work which a private hospital does is little more than what a government hospital does. Okay.
So, but in the medical college, we are taught all these processes for liver transplantation and
No,
every
you will not
other.
be taught.
Sir,
You will not be taught. That is something which you will learn when you are doing a post graduation. You will learn the basics of what is the liver injury, what are the diseases liver can cause. These are the things which you learn in MBBS. In MBBS, you don't need you don't study liver transplantation.
thank you, sir.
One of our bio teacher, Madam Minu Jacob, she'll be asking some questions. Madam, please.
Good evening, sir.
I remember you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes.
Tell
So
me.
my question is, how can the young children think of taking up medical profession with a view to serve?
How they can?
Because
Yeah.
with a view of serving others. Like nowadays, everyone is yes, sir.
Everyone is into money.
Yes, after money and the name.
So that is what. No, I think it's see, if it's little difficult. It's a little difficult question to answer. It's a nice question. A lot of things depends upon. I mean, these choices depend on a lot of things. If the student who is taking up MBBS has got a hospital which is run by his parents, family, and all those, inevitably, probably he may end up joining that. If he doesn't have a previous generation, then he can think of going into service and not go after money. It is not that you do service, you are not getting money. You will be getting money, but definitely not. It will not be as grand as what you get in some other fields. It's not that I am what do you call. I have enough money. It's not that I'm in a need of money, but it's enough for me. It's not that I need more. So it is something which the person has to choose. Whether does he need more or does he need what he wants. And even in serving, maybe let us say if you have done a post graduation and then going to serve, it's okay. You get enough money. It's not that you don't have to run after money. And there are good persons everywhere. Actually, if you look, like we were trying to organize a liver transplant for a patient. A liver transplant usually gets this costs around 25 to 30 lakhs. So everybody in India is not possible to afford that kind of treatment. Everybody doesn't have insurance. A lot of the people have to sell their own property, lands, and all those things to get those. But before the corona times, one of our hospitals in Bangalore did a liver transplant for a patient on with the price of 14 lakhs. And that is a private hospital. It's a corporate hospital which did. So it's not that they do bad work. They also do good work. It all depends upon the person, how he manages his team. Yeah, that's what. A lot of things depends upon the person, what he wants.
So this we have to convey to the children also, those who are taking this as a profession.
Yes.
So what more can be done or changes should be taken place in a medical profession so that it becomes a journey to serve?
Journey to serve, I think let the rural health mission is being neglected.
Yes,
If I
yes,
if you
that's only.
speak about the poor persons, the village persons, so there are two things which I am very in favor of. One is a fixed tenure in the army for everybody, at least 2 years. It helps build a sense of discipline. The other thing is, which actually a lot of state governments have started putting, making it a compulsory thing. You have to go and work in a rural hospital for a period of 3 years or something. Maybe 3 years is a little too much. Maybe 2 years should be okay, because that will give him time to prepare for his post graduation. He can have time to reflect on what subject he wants to take, and all those things. That should be made compulsory for everybody. Not 5 years, 3 years, and all those. 2 years is okay. 2 years should be made compulsory, especially to go and work in
Yes,
rural health,
yes,
primary health centers, community health centers, and all those. These are the
yes,
places where you actually need. And these
yes,
are the places, if you look at it, the Ayush and the Ayurved people are gaining away.
yes,
And because our allopathic doctors are not going to those places, the government wants the Ayush and the Ayurvedic people to start working there.
yes.
Maybe if we start the allopathic doctors also going in, it will come down.
Yes.
Mm,
Okay, thank you, sir.
anytime.
Thank you, Minu ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Now we'll play a rapid fire round in which I'll be asking some interesting questions and you will be given 10 seconds for each question. Shall I start, sir?
Yeah, you can start.
Sir, how would you define yourself in 2 words?
2 words: happy person.
A day of happiness in your life?
That is, there are multiple. It's not one.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the day of happiness is when a patient is survived and discharged from the hospital.
Yeah.
Mm,
One dream you want to accomplish?
fly a plane.
If given a chance, which part of the life you would like to go back and why?
School and my medical college days. One of the best
Yeah.
things, because you don't have a worry, and you're the friends which you create in that. I am in contact with my school friends, my batchmates, and even my medical college batchmates. We meet. We even have a WhatsApp group. So it's one of that companionship, that comradeship which was formed at that time can never happen anywhere else in life.
Yeah, yeah. These alumni are becoming very popular nowadays because of
Mm.
these interactions only, sir. Yeah, yeah. Then a word for MGM.
Continue doing the good work.
Thank you, sir, for being so cooperative and giving the answers so promptly. And thank you once again for giving your valuable time. We had a nice time with you, sir.
Thanks. It
And
was
it was
entirely.
really a lively and inspiring session for us. And being an MGM alumni, we are proud of you, sir. Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate you all thinking to call me. So even though I didn't consider myself to be worthy of talking on this, but thanks for giving me the opportunity to do that.
Welcome, sir.
So,
Hope
on
our
behalf
students
of
and viewers are okay, sir. Sir, Principal, sir, you want to say something, sir?
can I,
Yeah, please.
Yes.
sir, on behalf of MGM fraternity, we thank you for availing your precious time for us. We know that you're a very busy personality. You found time for us. You enlightened us in your chosen field of area. We wish that you scale greater heights, and that will bring laurels not only to the society in general, but also to the school. One word, if you may allow me, with regard to ragging, we have a protocol that we have to condemn ragging. So, so I beg to disagree there. We have to find ways and means so that we don't use that word ragging here.
Yeah, maybe a change of word or a change can be used, because a lot of people attribute or mix ragging with physical violence.
Yeah.
So that should not be there. Even we never had physical violence, but it was interesting. Once you look back, when you're in first year, you're afraid of the ragging. But when you're in second year, third year, or you cross the medicine, then you look back on those periods when you are ragged, you actually laugh.
Yeah, but again, I beg to disagree there with regard to otherwise also, because I have to just do justice with my chair. So any kind of ragging is not accepted in this present area, present world. We have to find ways and means so that the so-called junior learns to get accustomed to the new environment, and there is sufficient honing of his skills. So once again, on behalf of the MGM family, we thank you for giving us your valuable time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Principal Sir. Thank you, Susi Madam and Minu Madam. And Susi Madam, now I remember, you look like your mother. I remember your mother's face on that on the screen. Anyway, thanks. Nice. It was nice interacting with you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Hope our students and viewers are benefited with today's talk show. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. With this beautiful quote by Rabindranath Tagore, we end up today's session of the interaction with today's inspirative talk show. Hope you all had a nice time and enjoyed the inspirational show. Stay tuned for the upcoming episode. Till then, goodbye, stay home, stay safe, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you once again.